What is up, you beautiful, beautiful gamers, and welcome back to RPJames, to this little lone corner in the internet, where we like to talk about video games, like always. And these news that we have for this week are just music to my eyes, like I always say. It's something beautiful. I don't know if you're aware of this, but Mike Laidlaw, that beautiful, beautiful Mike Laidlaw, might already be working on a King Arthur video game with such amazing features that we are going to be discussing in today's video. But let's set the mood for this thing. Who the hell is Mike Laidlaw? Well, he's the beautiful, beautiful mastermind that brought us the Dragon Age franchise. It has been fractured a little bit about the narrative direction and how the games handle themselves, like the first, second and third entry, because of, like I mentioned, like narrative direction. I love all of the games. I remember back in the day where I was a little human, little Mario James. I remember Mario Little James playing Neverwinter Nights, and then after that Neverwinter Nights 2. I just felt so in love with those games, and from a point onward in history there was a thirst, an ache about something like that, and I hadn't been able to fill it up ever since I played those games. I did play some. This is pretty much RPJames. We discussed RPGs in this thing. Now, when we got the announcement for Dragon Age Origins, and when I finally got my claws in the game, I was just so delighted at the narrative direction, the main focal line between the Wardens and the Blight, and this gruesome approach that they take into the story and the main narrative of the game. It was just something beautiful. There are some mixed receptions as well when we talk about the second entry, Dragon Age 2, and then Dragon Age Inquisition. I love Hawk as main character. I mean, I'm just in love with his personality, and I think that there's a whole lot of people out there feeling the same way about Hawk. But needless to say, I won't dwell too much in this thing, but I personally think that the level of narrative that we have in Dragon Age 2 it's not comparable to what we saw in Origins. And talking about Dragon Age Inquisition, it's one of my favorite RPGs of all time. It's also a little bit mixed on the reception of the game, and something that I truly hate is that they discuss the main narrative of the whole thing on DLCs, like you won't actually experience the whole experience. If you don't give some greenies, some monedas to Uncle Bioware, if you want to understand the whole story plot of the game, yeah, you have to pay. That's something disgusting. That's something that happened as well with Mass Effect 3, and while it's a beautiful game and it has a hideous ending. I mean, this kind of practices has been like inherently part of Bioware for some time in history now. But the beautiful man behind the schemes of the Dragon Age franchise, which, like we already stated, is a beautiful game that we love in this channel, he actually joined up Ubisoft a while ago, and he was actually working on a King Arthur video game, high budget King's Arthur video game based on the Kingdom of Camelot and the Knights of the Round Table, and it had some interesting features that it never made it out to the light. Let's take a look at it. A new report from Bloomberg Business Week has some new details on a King Arthur game that was in the works at Ubisoft Quebec, led by the former Dragon Age boss Mike Laidlaw. The game was said to have been cancelled because Chief Creative Officer Serge Hascoët, who recently left Ubisoft amid workplace allegations, did not like the setting. The report says that the untitled King Arthur game was a big-budget adventure involving stories of King Arthur and his round table in a sword and sorcery fantasy world full of knights and legends. The game featured a co-op multiplayer world that was likened in the report to Monster Hunter series. Developer Jordan Michael Lemos said on Twitter that he worked on the project twice for short periods of time. Quote, I love the narrative of the game and we have a super strong writing team early on. The entire team was great and driven by passion, which was then crushed by Surge. End of quote. So there you have it. That was Mike Laidlaw's project when he was working at Ubisoft. It didn't came into fruition because of the dubious kind of direction that Ubisoft has out there. Like, there are some things that have been staining a little bit more the reputation of the company, but needless to say, we have some public reports, a whole lot of public reports like this one that you see in here. There are whole articles about all of that stuff, of the directors behaving in well, dubious manner. Those cheeky bastards. Now, this project was presented to Hascoed, and the dude was like, nah, you know, that's not what I likey. That's not what people want. People want shooty. Give me some Division stuff, give me some Ghost Recon stuff. Dude, imagine the situation, imagine the scene, like, the nerve of showing out there and say to Mike fucking Laidlaw, dude, develop a shooter. I don't have anything against shooters, but dude, you have fucking Mike Laidlaw in front of you, and you say, I want a shooter. Don't want those little swordy stick thingies. Give me a shooter. People want shooters. Shooty. Really? Really, dude? Are you being serious about that? But yeah, enough of the rant. Now, as you can see in here, the people involved in this project was actually so immersed in the thing. They were passionate about it. And imagine the situation, like, take a moment to ponder with this, with me, with RPJames a little bit. Imagine yourself riding in the green fields of the kingdom of Camelot, and then you have Galawain galloping at your side, and then in Blossom, in your shield, Percival appears, and then out of nowhere, a giant dragon comes into play, and you start hunting the thing in Monster Hunter style kind of gameplay. Dude, it pumps off my blood just to have the thought of it. It's just something beautiful. And Hascoed was like, no likey, shooty. If that thing doesn't, if it's not better than Tolkien, I don't like it. That's how he said it. Yeah, that's how he said it. The nerve of that guy. And then the project was presented to him as well so many times after that, changing the setting because the team was so in love with the project. It was their baby. They have it in here, and they was like, oh, my little old King Arthur. They must have been proud of what they were being accomplishing there. But Hascoed, well, it did not give the green light. After some time after that, Mike left the company, and a little while ago we got this thing. Mike Laidlaw, best known as the creative director of the Dragon Age franchise, has started a studio with 3 other designers who have worked on some AAA video games' biggest series over the past decade. Laidlaw will join Ubisoft veterans Thomas Giroux, the crew, Jeff Skalski, I'm pretty sure I'm condemning these names, but and Frederick S. Laurent B., both Assassin's Creed Syndicate, in founding Yellow Brick Games, quote, an independent studio dedicated to making original new games of high quality, end of quote. The studio said in the news release, Yellow Brick Games will be based in Quebec City. Giroux is Yellow Brick's chief executive officer. Skalski is the executive. Please pardon me for murdering these names. Producer and chief operative officer. Laidlaw is the chief creative officer, and Saint Laurent B is game director. The news release said that the studio already has 15 employees and already they are creating a first original game that will leverage the capabilities of the next generation gaming platforms, end of quote. And while the studio is really small right now, I mean, they have passion for this project. They were like, you know, you're not gonna allow us to make this game? We don't need you. We're gonna make our own, very own game company with wenches and card games. And they made it. And while there are only 15 people in here, they are all professionals and veterans. Take a look at Mortal Shell. Mortal Shell is a short game, but it's made by not such veterans of the gaming world, of the gaming industry, and still they managed to pull off a beautiful game that, while short, it's full of quality. It's quality content. It's like a mini little Souls-likey little Souls Dark Souls game. It's a beautiful game, and it was made by 15 people. Imagine all of these ideas that they have. Imagine if they can rekindle the light, the flame of this King Arthur game with these great minds. They also stated that they are going to be hiring more people to join the studio, to join the crew, make this dream possible. I think that, well, right now they are actually already working on it, and you better be sure that we'll be updating this shit in RPJames. So if you aren't subscribed already, consider sticking around and watching the news with Meryl James, have these beautiful chatters about video games. With that being said, I'll see you beautiful gamers in the next one. Remember to stay safe, remember to stay awesome. I'll see you guys in the next one.